Welcome everybody to Forza Motorsport 6, and today we're dealing with a 1968 Opel GT. Now this was a car that was produced between 1968 and 1973 with more than 100,000 produced, so it was a pretty successful car. And yeah, it's got a French made body set upon atop a steel unibody, and it's got a fastback design, but it has no boot or hatchback, so you can't get into the rear compartment through there. You have to open the door and go in through the back seats. Though there is plenty of space behind the back seats, so it has some practicality. And yeah, the looks of it are pretty good as far as I'm concerned. I like the whole complete area at the back. There's no break in the styling, so yeah, having no boot or hatchback does give it some advantage in terms of looks. Right, so the engine, there was a 1.1 litre engine on offer, though this one has the biggest engine, and that is a 1.9 litre inline 4 engine, producing 90 horsepower and 108 pounds-feet of torque, which is pretty decent. I don't think they were going for a massively powerful sports car or a car that could go really quick. I think they were just after a cheap, simple car that it was light, and it is light. 2,121 pounds is how much it weighs, which isn't even all that much to be honest, and it can make the most of that power. Now there's a little quirk about this car, is we have a look in here. You'll see there's a lever beside that that rectangle there, and that is manually operated headlights. We'll take a look now, which are pretty unique, as you can see. They don't open up the way normal headlights do for anything on most cars, and yeah, manually operated, which is pretty unique. This was also nicknamed the Mini Corvette, or the Corvette for Europe, even though it was sold in the US. And that's because it's a lot smaller than the likes of a Corvette from the previous year of this. This is 162 inches long, 48 inches high and 62 inches wide, whereas a Corvette Stingray from 67 was 175 inches long, 50 inches high and 70 inches wide. So this is a lot smaller than a Corvette, but it's still no less practical, to be honest. It's still pretty roomy inside and pretty well equipped as well. But to see what this car's like in terms of driving, we're going to take this out onto the track and see what it can do. So see you when we get there. Welcome to Sebring Club Circuit. We're going to take this car around on the first lap and talk through it on the second lap. So granted, this isn't the fastest car in the world by any means, and it's certainly outperformed by a lot of sports cars from the era, but I see this as more as an entry-level sports car that I don't think it cost all that much at all really, and it was clearly a hit with a lot of people to sell more than 100,000 cars in only 5 years, especially considering it's really rather unique in terms of its looks and not all that much power. Yeah, acceleration is still pretty decent. 0 to 60, 10.8 seconds. 0 to 137.0, 0.18 seconds and going on to a top speed of 110 mile an hour, which really isn't all that bad, and it is obviously helped by the fact it is such a lightweight car, which makes it a bit more charismatic than its heavier counterparts. It means you can really chuck it into the corners and brake as late as possible because there really isn't all that much weight or speed behind it, so you can really have a lot of fun with it, quite frankly. I could see a car like this really being a hit with people nowadays, and it certainly was a hit back in the day, and I like the look of it as well. I think it looks really rather unique. Those headlights are fun as anything to really play with, and it sounds pretty good and it's fun to drive, so I can't really ask any more of it. It is a car I had heard of before the car pack was released, but it is one that I did want in the game anyway, just because I thought the game could use a more unique set of cars, and we've certainly got the best set of cars on the game or in any series ever, quite frankly. So yeah, really highly enjoyable car that I think has a lot going for it, and I imagine that if you wanted to, you could upgrade it for racing online or going against drivatars on the campaign, and have a hell of a lot more fun with it as well, because you've got a great basis for a quick car there, quite frankly, with its lack of weight and obvious amount of upgrades that you can do for it. So yeah, overall pretty damn good, and I'm really enjoying driving it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.